denied. A person could walk up and try to give you a hug, but they can be denied. So this touch is a significant aspect of the believer growth process and our willingness to open ourselves or take down our barriers in acceptance to other individuals. It's very important, saints. But we all need touch. We all need it. It's not one of us who don't need affirming. We all need it in our lives. Now, while we're in this 9th chapter, look at verse 35. Matthew 9, verse 35. And here's a situation where Jesus was curing every disease. And Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every disease and every infirmity. He was curing every disease and infirmity. He was praying for the people, and he was literally touching many of them during this time of Jesus curing all of these various types of diseases. Very important, because so many people who are sick feel unaffirmed. So many people who are sick, they never get the opportunity to be touched, because people generally don't want to, especially if you have some particular disease, like this situation with the leprosy. People don't want to touch you. You know, they don't want to fool with you. And it makes individuals feel like an outcast. It makes you feel like, you know, you're worthless. You know, you're a nobody. But just someone having the capacity to reach out and touch. Boy, that's amazing, saints, in a time of need for that particular individual. And God gives us the grace. He gives us the ability to do that. Turn your Bibles to Mark real quick. Mark, the 2nd chapter. It's where Jesus healed a crippled man here. Mark 2. Start at verse 9. In Mark 2, starting in verse 9, it says, which is easier, to say to the paraplegic, your sins are forgiven, or to say, rise, take up your pallet, and walk? But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. He said to the paraplegic, I say to you, rise, take up your pallet, and go home. And he rose and immediately took up the pallet and went out before them all, so that they were all amazed and glorified God, saying, we never saw anything like this. Crippled man walked. Touch. Now, saints, am I suggesting that if you touch someone, that they will be physically healed? I'm certainly not saying that. God does heal. It's God's call. Every sickness, every disease is not healed, but certainly God is in the healing business. But I'll tell you one thing, saints, psychologically, emotionally, you certainly can heal many instances of depression and all those type things, and reaching out to people right where they are and meeting their needs. And some people, you'll be amazed, some people just need a simple hug. They just need a simple hug. Can you imagine a person, and a woman, a man has these needs, but a woman more so because of her makeup. Can you imagine an individual who had been touched for years and years and years, has never been affirmed, has never had any legitimate touch? My. You just can imagine some of the things that's probably the adversary is trying to take advantage of in their mind. See, that's where the battle is. The battle is in your mind. The adversary is probably trying to manipulate the person to believe that they are worthless, insignificant, nobody wants you, all these type things. But just one touch, affirmation, a touch of concern, a touch of love from someone can literally change a person's life. It's that important, saints. And I know we haven't, speaking in general, been looking at it from this aspect, but it's really that important to people. Just a touch. Look at Luke, the 17th chapter. And this is concerning the lepers that were healed. Luke 17, start at verse 12. I just want to show you the Luke account here. It says, and as he entered a village, he was met by 10 lepers who stood at a distance. You see? And lifted up their voices and said, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. See, we got people around us crying out every day. And some of us is not very discerning. We're not observant of these things. But people are in need. People are hurting. And they need a touch. And some people are standoffish because they haven't been touched in a long time. He says, when he saw them, 14th verse, he said to them, go and show yourselves to the priests. And as they went, they were cleansed. Then